Alright, so I decided to do a 5-year count showcase. Did one at around 1,000 days. And I was gonna wait till 2,000 days, but then I realized that it's waiting another 200 days is actually it's 130. But realized that probably would take a little too long. So I'm just gonna do one now while the 5-year anniversary is kind of going on. I'll probably just go through like my entire account, I guess, and just talk about random things. Starting with weapons. I think my weapon roster's pretty stacked, I would say. I have like a bunch of really random dupes. I probably just get rid of most of these. I actually used to care about having like one of everything. But as you can see, like some of these aren't R5 because I accidentally dismantled some of them. So, and for like some of these, the only way to get these again is if another area, I think this one's like a Mondstadt one. So unless another Mondstadt area gets introduced, I will never R5 this, pretty much. And then there's, the Dark Iron Sword, which, that one you can't R5 because they just never added enough. There's used to be only one, but then Chenyu Vale allowed you to get another one. But otherwise, yeah, nothing too crazy. I have like most main DPS signatures, but for the most part, I just get like kind of like whatever I think actually gives like a big buff. But for the most part, like main DPS, I try to get the weapon for. Artifacts, I mean, nothing really to see here. It's just like infinite amounts of golds. Especially like I just have like a bunch kind of just sitting there in case I need them in the future. Materials. I'll try to keep like a bunch of stuff like in the back, the back pocket just in case. So like for a lot of stuff I have stuff kind of pre-farmed in case I end up getting like any character, like a character from like an old region comes out. So I kind of have some stuff there. I ended up spending like most of my books though. Because, yeah, Imaginarium Theater and stuff like that. Which the new Imaginarium Theater requires 28 minimum, so even as a day one account, it's gonna be kind of a hard one there. Foods. I'm pretty sure I have like most foods. If not pretty much like the majority. I don't have like a bunch of the character exclusive ones though, obviously. But I've otherwise gone and made every food currently in the game. More materials. So yeah, I'm a day one player. Like I haven't missed a login. As of today, it should be I think like 1830. 1,830 days of logins as of today. I actually just barely finished the fishing stuff. Like I didn't buy. I completely forgot about Sumeru. So I got this like just recently. I also didn't have the Inazuma fishing rod, so I got that one pretty recently too. I also just finished the 2000 fishing like the other day, which I'll talk about like achievements and stuff when I get to that part. Um, as you can see, I'm unfortunately missing the bear traps or animal traps or whatever they were, because yeah, back in the day, if you would like press to like use something here, it would move the cursor back one. So yeah, I ended up spending like, I think you end up with like 6 or 8 or something like that, towards the end, and then I just over time ended up using them all. So no, unfortunately, this isn't like a perfect 100% account. Yeah, these are because I'm currently trying to do the Zoo Tycoon one, and then I realized that I kind of soft locked myself. So I was trying to go for 100% achievements, and then realized that you can only buy 5 nets per day, or per week. And yeah, I kind of stopped doing that like back in the day. So I'm currently at like 61 out of 100. So I'm counting this as 100% achievements. The current max as of this patch of 6.0 slash Luna 1 is 1604. The total actual max though is I think it's like 1610, but like this one you can get probably for another patch or two, maybe. This, I think technically you can get, I think the Lunar Arcanum thing is from the new Imaginarium Theater, if I'm not mistaken. The problem is it's a 3-tier one, so that was probably, I would assume this is probably going to take a while, considering, assuming you can only get like a certain amount of Lunar Arcanum per reset for the Imaginarium Theater. And then something like this, where you just can't do this. And if it's like not, or if it ends up being like Natlan, you're not going to be able to get the Nod Cry statue to the max till like the last patch. So, and then there are like just a bunch of other like hidden ones that are also in the game, but you can't do them as of right now. The only other one that I'm missing though, besides the Zook Tycoon for 1604, is you have to draw a Great Misfortune at the Narukami Shrine, which, yeah, that one's kind of RNG, so as of right now, I'm going to count this as 100%, just because over time, like, this is just going to take, this will take me like 8 weeks, pretty much, because you can only get 5 nets per week, so unfortunately, yeah, that's going to just take a while. But as of right now, I'm going to count this as 100%. So just quick little, I guess, like fun fact is, I was always like around 1400-ish, like 1420, 1430-ish. I started doing achievements towards the end of Natlan, because there was like a bunch of downtime around that time, since they were like really focusing on Nodcry, which, you know, in my opinion, Nodcry massively delivered. I started doing like all the Challenger series. Like for a lot of these, I was missing like a couple. So I went back and did like all of the Challenger ones. I ended up doing all of the co-op ones because I never really did like any of the co-op, you know, world bosses or anything like that. So I ended up doing that. Which I want to say that if you're kind of considering doing the challenges or these achievements, I would recommend doing them because you end up finding like a bunch of random stuff that you may have missed. I ended up finding like a bunch of like random quests, even just doing these. I ended up also figuring out that I was missing like 2 or 3 local legends, specifically in Natlan. Like for example, the Cryo Wyab, I didn't realize was a local legend. I thought he was just like one of those like world enemies that got turned into like an abyss boss, pretty much, or like an imaginary theater boss. So when I saw him in the local legend place, because the Cryo Wyab is pretty much like one of those like Night Lord challenge things, or Night Realm kind of like challenge bosses. When I saw him there, I was like, whoa, wait, what? So it was like super, like, it was one of those things where it was pretty cool to like see that. And then, yeah, there was just like a bunch of other like miscellaneous things. Because I was also missing like two or three other local legends. So that was also pretty cool. So I would recommend doing achievements whenever you have downtime. I don't know about going through the hidden ones, because, dude, that took so long to try to find out which ones I was missing. But I would at least recommend doing the named ones, as in the ones that you can actually just look up like really easily. I think that was pretty fun, and yeah, it was a pretty big source of primals, let me tell you. I'll do a quick shout out to like everybody, because I did the fishing one like very recently, like within the past week of filming this video. Like I just finished the 2000 fishing the other day, so I'll do a quick shout out to like everybody who like let me join their world or whatever. So starting with Red War, thanks to Anne, Isaac, Pipo Sit, JL18, Gadarini, Aurora, Bibi, this name that I can't read. My boy Ken, Kay, Tamara, Mio, Akemi, Zach, Fuji, Riri, Tatsuo, Nightlight, Thay, Young, Luna, Ikaro, Ray, Nova, Fish, and Rosalind. There was another one, I don't know why it doesn't show, but it was Bryce too. I don't know why it doesn't show it, but
if you ever feel down,
I know that name because that was the final world that I was in. Most people like would only let me do for one region, so kind of I had to go through a lot of worlds. Special shout out Rosalind, because I stayed in that world for like an hour and a half and I got like 150 plus fish just in that one session. But anyway, I'll also go through my archive. I don't know if people like ever show this in showcases. Probably because it's kind of like whatever. But as a day one account, I'll try to show my absolute, show like everything to show you what potentially your account could look like if you just play for like a really long time. So yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it, but yeah, I haven't missed a login so far. Playing since day one. I don't know if some of these, like, I'm missing some of these, but like I don't know if they're like in the game right now and I just haven't discovered them or what. I wonder if I should try to go back for that. Actually that doesn't matter. Geography. So I actually have all of these. I think I was missing like a couple, but when I was doing the Navland achievements and stuff like that, one of the things that I did find were these things. Like I was missing a couple. So when I was going back to do the achievements, I was like finding a random viewpoints, I think these are called. So then I ended up going through here and finding out that I was missing 2 or 3. Like the ones that I was missing like one here. I think. No. I was missing a couple in Liyue. Like there was like some weird one. Some like weird one where you have to be like on top of Baiju's shop. I think it was this one. So I was missing like just random ones. Travel log. I actually went through. I remember going through these because if you go through these now yourself, it'll probably say like a bunch of like new icons. But I actually went through and cleared all of them at one point. So that's why it looks like super nice and clean. Books. I think I have the majority of the books. I think I'm missing like 2. I just finished Toki Tales recently too. During the fishing. So I'm missing 3. So I could probably go back and just get these. Missing three book sets. Materials. I'm pretty sure I have like the majority of like everything. Oh yeah, the foods. So yeah, I'm probably just missing like... So like some of these are character exclusive ones, I think. So it's not necessarily that I'm missing foods, I think. I think some of these might be recipes that I'm actually missing, but I think for the most part, most of them will be character specific foods. But yeah, I think some of these might actually just be ones that I'm missing. But for the most part, I've made every single food to the highest rarity once. I'm missing this, but I'm pretty sure I've actually gotten that. I think maybe if you have 0, it shows as you don't have it. Because like this, I for sure have gotten the gold plates. But I think it's because I have 0 of them right now. So it doesn't like show that I actually have it. But otherwise, yeah, I have pretty much everything. These are just, I think these are the specific colors, pointer things, whatever you want to call those, that show if you're like missing any. And then the Lunar Arcanum, which just got added. Technically, well, it's not actually in yet because one more reset. But I think if you're playing on CN, you could probably get that already. I have to wait one more day though for Imaginarium reset to reset. I don't know if I should show this, but I'll just quickly talk about it. I've managed to get the max star every single season. So back when it was 8, and then when it got upgraded to 10. So far I haven't missed a single one. Abyss, I've been consistently doing 36 stars since I think the child second rerun, or first rerun actually. Back in the day I actually didn't care about doing Abyss because I listened too much to like people's advice of like, nah, that's like only for the paid players and stuff like that. So I missed out on a lot of primos probably because I just never even bothered to like attempt to do Abyss back in the day. But once I got child during the second or the first rerun, that's when I started doing Abyss a lot more seriously because by then I had 2 teams. I think my teams then were like, it was like Kuching, Diluc, Jincho, Barbara, I think, for one team. And then my other team was like Child, Jiangling, Ganyu, and I don't know who the healer was. I think it was just like Noel. Because I was like super like a Bennett hater. And I still am. I'm like super petty about it. So like, yeah, I didn't use Bennett for like a while. Because yeah, I just didn't like him. So I guess I'll do like a character count showcase. Just to have this for like future reference, I guess, in case anyone wants to see my stats. I can just like link them to this video. I use my selectors for Mizuki, which is also why I'm running this current team, because I'm just doing like friendship XP farm. As you can see, she's 7. Same with Llama. So I'm just doing this one. I probably won't go through like individual sets, but my Farina has like like crazy stats, near 40,000 in a non-double hydro team, 90 crit rate, 228 crit damage. Like, dude, these are nasty stats. So unless my stats are like super crazy, I won't show like individual stats. But yeah, this is like a near perfect piece. If this had energy recharge, it would be pretty much perfect. But these are crazy stats, like super high HP percent, very good crit rate, because I have like crit damage like pretty much everywhere else. So crit rate ended up being like a really good stat overall. This is pretty much like near perfect. Has HP percent, energy recharge, double crit. This one could be better, kind of. I mean, HP percent's already the main stat, so the only thing that would be better is like EM and ER. Is otherwise pretty good too. This one's also pretty much near perfect. EM would be like the only better thing, or even just flat HP, I guess. This is like a pretty nasty piece too. And then this one's also pretty good. HP percent 14%, 21% crit damage, and then Unfortunately, just like one roll of ER, but pretty good. Like super, like this is probably my best stat character by far. She hits so hard. Llama, I think she's my current highest EM character. I think she beats out Lolly by like 100. With signature, and then, yeah, I just have her on this, but eventually she'll be on the new set. I haven't farmed it yet though. And then, yeah, maxed. Yeah, I ended up like really liking Llama. I think Llama, like I haven't been like this into a character since like Eula. Like I don't know what it is about Llama, but they did an extremely good job with her design and her voice actor. But yeah, I don't want to sound too G-Gen about it, so I'll just quickly move on. Kuki, I finally managed to get her C6 during the Llama banner. She was like C4 for like years. So that was pretty cool. I ended up pulling like Llama, and then I did like 50 bonus pulls because I was like, okay, well, this is probably gonna be like my last chance to get Kuki. And if I get C1 Llama, then like, you know, who cares? So I ended up doing like 50 extra pulls, got her C6, and then I didn't get an extra Llama, unfortunately, but it's probably for the best. Probably better to save. Currently on the event exclusive, you can't really get that anymore. Also, she used to be on a different set, but then I put her on Flower Paradise Lost, which, yeah, it's pretty good because it buffs like all Denjo reactions. And yeah, I actually didn't know about this for like a while, or like I just never realized it was like this good. So it was like putting her on this set, which gave her buff, plus C6, and then also Llama coming out. So she ended up being even better. My Gilonin with 4,000 defense. The reason why is because of her signature weapon, which gives it 8% for every 1,000, which technically you could do just 3,000, which will give you 24%. I think going for 4,000 for just 1.6% is kind of a waste, but I mean, you know, I was able to get 4,000 anyway, and without affecting like my other stats. Like she still has pretty good energy recharge. Like she always has her ult up. But yeah, to min-max the 4,000 defense for just 1.6% is that was just me being like super, I'm trying to like min-max that for like no real reason. Kazuha, who still has the super high value to this day, especially because I got this pretty late. Before that I was running him on Dark Iron Sword for like the longest time just because it looks super cool on him. But yeah, I ended up getting this, and let's just say this passive is like really good, especially once you get to R5. I got it to R5 like over time. But even at R1 though, this passive, like it pretty much makes it so where he very consistently has ult without needing to build like energy recharge directly. So it was like a massive quality of life for him. Although I guess these days people would say like his ult's just like a waste of time, or it's like a DPS loss or whatever. I think his ult's still pretty good though. I still consistently use him in a bunch of places. My Traveler, I actually spent most of Natlan building Traveler. I managed to go through, I went back and leveled every single element to around 7 for the normals, and then 9. For this wind, animal one, I did crown his skill and ult, just because this is my favorite. I don't know, something about it, I think this color scheme with the Animo color is like, that is the Traveler, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I went through and leveled up all the skills, and then I just have them like on a general set with just like double attack. Just because I thought I was gonna be switching them constantly, but then I just left them on the animal one. So I could probably just throw them on like an animal goblet, probably. But yeah. Jean, I didn't get Jean till 4 years in, and it was like really annoying because I really wanted Jean, but it took so long that yeah. When I finally did get her, yeah, I ran her. I tried to run her like any content that I could. I mean, I currently ever see one these days, but yeah, I have her on energy recharge sands, and even though she's like an 80 cost and her energy recharge looks kind of low, she can consistently get it. So she's like pretty good. But yeah, she's kind of like a hybrid at this point. I mean, her attack's kind of low, but she hits pretty decent. Skirk, my first cryo main DPS character. I don't count Ganyu because I did use Ganyu as a main DPS for like a little bit for Abyss because she used to hit like crazy hard, but for me she was always kind of just like the sub DPS ulter. So yeah, Skirk is my first actual cryo main DPS because yeah, I kind of hate Rail Thezali. So this is like a long time coming. And yeah, she's like really good. Her crit damage looks kind of low, but she gets 40% from her weapon. Nothing too crazy there. She hits pretty hard. I don't have Escoff though, but I do plan on getting Escoff in the future. Here's my Sea Lolly. Nothing too crazy here. I think Sea Lolly was one of the best characters to have released because she ended up indirectly buffing a bunch of teams, which was pretty cool. Like Hu Tao double vape got like massive value, and then once I get C1 Hu Tao from the Tempered Fate thing, it'll be like even better. Because I think Hu Tao still holds up extremely well. It's just she runs out of stamina really fast with her playstyle. So once I get her C1, that pretty much like negates that. And I think her damage over time will massively increase. And I think she holds up pretty well still. Especially with a character like Silali who fills like every role that you would want her for that specific team. So Shenhe, she's probably my lowest used character. I don't really like regret pulling for her though. I don't know how like rare that is or like how common, because I feel like people always have characters they regret pulling for, but for me, I don't really regret pulling for like anybody because all the characters that I pull for I actually care about. So even though I don't use Shenhe that much, I think she's still pretty cool. It's the main reason was because I didn't have a cryo main DPS to like fully utilize her. So I did run her for like a while in my physical Eula team, which I still think Eula's currently still my favorite character in the game. Check out the near perfect 1 to 2. I still want to try to get her weapon. I've lost a 50-50 on it like twice. So I'm like never able to get it, but Skyward Pride is a really good alternative because it funds her with much needed energy recharge and it actually hits for pretty good damage. Yeah, otherwise nothing too crazy. Yeah, her C1, it only gives 30%, but I think 30% is pretty good anyway. Like any bonus damage is good damage. People try to say like, oh well, physical already has low damage, but I'll take any damage I can get. So my first constellation will be for Eula for sure, and then I'm gonna try to consistently run her in like a bunch of end game. But yeah, she's gonna have like a lot of help. Obviously, I'll probably run her with like Farina, Raiden, Jilonin probably. Which, you know, people will say she's just getting carried by that team or whatever, but like the whole point of the supports is to carry the main DPS, like in a way. So like, whatever. Alright, so for my Ganyu, she's actually kind of got a weird setup. I run Polar Star, but I actually think Aqua Simulacra buffs roll more. But the reason she's built like this is because her stats are kind of weird. As you can see, she's on an attack crown. And then yeah, she gains like 20% for Blizzard Strayer. And yeah, the attack helps, because otherwise she'd be at like 1700 attack or something. So yeah, Ganyu, yeah, her build's kind of weird, but it works. Also, I think she was my first limited. Because I think Child maybe came out first, but then I lost the 50-50 on him. So then, or no, I think it was after. But yeah, she was my first limited, I'm pretty sure. Chi-Chi, I actually didn't get Chi-Chi for like 3 years or something like that. Currently C2. She's actually level 90 for no real reason. And the only reason she's built like this is because of her Echo trial. Clarend, my first and only limited, limited 5-star with constellations. C2. I never bought into like C2 Raiden, even though I always knew it was good. But I knew Raiden wasn't like I like Raiden, but you know, you just know when a character's kind of not for you. So I was always pretty much just holding out, and then when I saw Clarend in like the reveal trailer for Fontaine, I was like, no, that I already knew that was it. So her stats are pretty nasty. There's like the one piece that could be better, but farming the Whimsy set is it's not good value, let's just say. So, but overall, like, pretty good stats. Like her crit rate looks low, but she gets 20 from this, so 87. But I wish I could get that closer to like 90 something, like 95. But for now, it's good. Miko. I actually have a lot of Miko playtime, probably like more than my official. Just because I like that her totems stay up for 3 seconds longer. Or never mind, it's 14. I could have sworn it was 15 seconds. But regardless, I like the uptime on her totems more. But when I need like higher electro application, then I go official. Raiden. Not too much to say about Raiden. She's like the most consistent character, even if she's not like super main DPS potential these days. I still consistently use her in like a bunch of teams. I actually used her in my double main DPS Malwika team for Stygian Blight Drake guy. So I was like Malwika and then her. And then it was like Yelon for Fearless. So yeah, she's still very consistent. I actually did use her as a main DPS for the last Abyss. First the Clink Clink guy. She ended up being better than my Clarend for that Abyss for some reason. Kuching, I've had her built this exact same way pretty much since I got her. The only difference was prototype Rancor. And then I got a Quill of Livonia like pretty soon after. But I've had her built physical since pretty much like since I got her though. My goal is whenever I do get her C6, I will properly build her as an Electro DPS. Because I mean, I technically have swords for that. Like I can just throw on Heron. But yeah, I like her like this. Alright, Emily. Emily is one of those random characters that, you know, because other characters kind of get announced, and she was kind of just randomly towards like the end of Fontaine. She's my favorite random character that has been released. Um, I think over time, she got like just random value in random uh, game modes or whatever. I don't even use her in Burning really ever. I just run her as like a secondary Dendra applier. But I did end up using her for Burn kind of recently. But yeah, she's like one of my... She got a lot of hate for like no real reason. I really like Emily. While Hatham remains to be one of my favorite characters, purely from the gameplay perspective, because it's just like really fun. Not really much to say about him, outside of the fact that he is on Deepwood, because my Deepwood set is just too good in terms of like crit values. His EM is kind of low because of it though, but he still hits pretty hard, so that's probably like his worst piece. I can probably get a better one, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like RNG, so like if I can get higher crit damage and just like EM, it'd be really good. But yeah, he remains one of my favorite characters in the game by far. Super fun to play. Nilu, one of those characters where I pulled knowing that she probably wasn't gonna get a lot of use. She ended up not getting a lot of use in endgame because Bloom as a reaction is more for AoE, and there wasn't like a lot of AoE content. And even in Imaginarium Theater, since it's so RNG on the teams you can build, she also kind of doesn't see that much value there. But then she got like the biggest comeback this past patch with Abyss and Stygian Onslaught, so she's like one of those characters where like the massive value in the end was pretty cool. I still like the Bloom team though. The Bloom team, I actually ran that for a while because it is fun. But yeah, she's kind of otherwise in a weird spot. But yeah, I really like Nilu. Yalon, nothing too crazy, I think. Most Yalons probably kind of just look like this. Nothing much to say about there. Very consistent, very reliable. Mona. I play Mona sometimes still these days because I do find her ult cutscene into like the next character like Nuke is still one of the most satisfying combos in the game. It's just that you know, there are better buffers, there are better. I mean, her Hydra application is like really bad, but she sounds like one of the most satisfying ults, and it actually keeps up pretty well these days. Yeah, she's C2. I don't think the rest really... I mean, this crit rate would be kind of cool. But otherwise, yeah. She's kind of there these days. Child, one of the most fun characters in the game too. Really hard to build with good stats, like good attack, good crit values. I would say... Since they never ended up releasing more like Zhangling type characters, his value kind of plummeted. Because he has really high Hydra application, but then Zhangling is the only high Pyro applicator. And yeah, like Mawiko kind of didn't end up being that type of character, so... I think if they ever add like a second Zhangling though, I think him plus the double like Zhangling type characters would be really good, because pretty much all of his damage is reaction based. His raw damage is really bad. But if they ever do like something like that, where it can like massively take advantage of his super high Hydra application, he would be a monster. Maybe, I don't know. But just imagine like just constant vapes though, that should be crazy. Malika, I mean, not much to say here. She's the defining DPS character. She's the current damage ceiling as of this patch. Who knows if anybody will ever break that, but yeah. Daya, I actually ran Daya as like a main DPS for a while. I actually pulled her during her debut banner. Despite what most people probably would have done. Do you ever see one when I got? Because I lost a 50-50 at one point and then got her C1. This was like massive value though. The damage was like very noticeable when I got it. I think if I ever get a C6, I will like very consistently run her as a main DPS. But as of right now, she's just like sub DPS role. I do think her value is like really good still though. Purely off her interruption resistance and like mitigation. I use her a lot in my Clearend overload teams. Yoi, she's like another one of those characters where like I knew I was never gonna play her because Hu Tao was already out and her damage wasn't really good to begin with. But yeah, she's like one of those characters that I pulled on her third rerun, I think, because I was just like, I do still wanted her, or I did still want her. So yeah, I ended up pulling her, and then I used her like maybe twice in Abyss, and then never used her. Hu Tao, still one of like the more satisfying characters to play. Her ult hits like a truck. And in terms of like staff characters, like her normal attack string is like really satisfying to like look at for some reason. Still holds up pretty well though. I do think she has energy. She has quality of life problems in the sense of her energy or her stamina. But once I get her C1, that will fix all of those issues, and she will pretty much. I would personally say she'd be like on Arlecchino level. Because Arlecchino and Mawika obviously both hit harder, but that doesn't mean Huta doesn't hit for like anything. Because, I don't know, people always try to say things like, you know, these characters just like all of a sudden just do negative damage, which is not true. Huta still hits like really hard. It's just that her charge attack playstyle makes her run out of stamina. So now that you can get her C1 for free pretty much, her value kind of skyrockets a little bit. Maybe not skyrockets, but it goes up pretty drastically, I would say. D-Luke, my first ever 5-star. Someday I will get Wolf's Gravestone, maybe. 5 years later, but, you know, and I'm still hoping for it. Nothing too much to say here. He's my 5-star that I've gotten the most consolation for, let's just say. I still feel like I got cheated out. Because I swear I've gotten this guy like 14, 15, like C14, C15-ish. But I only ended up getting 2 of the Ascension material thing. But unfortunately I don't have video proof, but I pretty much always get this guy as my, you know, 50-50 lost. So the fact that I apparently only have him at like C like 8 or whatever is kind of hard to believe. I feel like I got cheated out of some more of that Stella thing. Ningguang. Nothing really to say here. I did get this like very recently, so it's like not even leveled. Actually, yeah, from here it's just like 4 stars. I guess like one little fun fact is I only level up 4 stars that I really like to 90. So I'll just go through like the level 90 ones specifically. Layla, I actually used Layla for a pretty good amount when I got her. Her shield's like really strong, and her cryo application's kind of nice. Up next is Diona, who I ran her for so long. It was Kuching, Kazuha, Ganyu, and Diona. That was like my go-to Abyss team for like 2 years or something like that. The unique niche of stamina consumption decrease. As long as her shield was up, which her shield was never good, but it was good enough to where Kuching could get a bunch of charge attacks off. Yeah, I never actually used Kujosara, but I like her, which is why I gave her the level 90 treatment. Official, the original one and only. Yeah, between her and Eula, those are my two original favorites. I would say like overall Eula though. Kale, I kind of use her, but yeah, her Dendro application's kind of weird. So it was like one of those things where she would kind of see use, but not really. But I leveled her because I like Kale. Kirara, I actually used Kirara for like a good amount in my all hate them teams. And then yeah, then her skin that she ended up getting was I really like this skin. Like even her original's good. But yeah, this new one was like the next step up. Around Sapwood, C4. I have like a bunch of characters just like C4 pretty much. I can never get them to C6. Super annoying. Candace, I can't believe she ended up being a 4-star. That was like the biggest tragedy in the game. Yeah, I ended up really liking Candace. Only for there not to be much there. Barbara, day one, the day one healer. I still consistently use her too. Wait, how come she has like a new voice line? Oh, Dahlia. I never noticed that. Chavroos, the overload buffer herself. I always run her in my Chavroos team. Pretty consistent to just C1. Whenever I get her C6, it's gonna be like such massive value. Because it gives what? You get 60% to Pyro and Electro. Dude, whenever I get that C6, my Clarion team's gonna like skyrocket in value. And then from there, like yeah, everybody else is like 80, pretty much. So I won't like waste too much time there. Otherwise, yeah. Day 1 account showcase featuring, you know, just random things from my account. Nothing, I mean, there's nothing like too crazy to these account showcases, I feel like. The only interesting things would be like what characters people have. And I guess like stats. I think most of my character stats are pretty good. I've managed to min-max like the majority of them. But yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I don't really think there's anything else to show, really. I guess I could show my teapot, because like nobody ever sees my teapot. Does the only have one layout that I actually went out of my way to do, which is this one, the beach one, or like the Mondstadt-ish one, I guess. So this is like what the outside is looking like for like the main area. I'm currently doing friendship XP for both, or for 3 of these, so that's why they're all here. But otherwise I would put like Barbara. It used to be like Barbara, and then I don't remember what else. Since this is like the Mondstadt region, I put characters like per region pretty much. But since I'm doing friendship XP for these 4, but before I had like, you know, like Diluc, Amber, and stuff like that. And then the other, like the other regions have character-specific ones too. So there's like kind of like the city area. I ended up like I kind of gave up on this part. I'll be honest. And then there's like kind of like the Diluc Amber area. So like Diluc's like out here growing like his wine. And then Amber was like over here with, doing like, I don't know, camping or something. Nice little quaint area. And then over here is just like the beach area, which is like random stuff. There's like my fish collection. There's like random fish. Oh, there's like a little hot spring thing. Yeah, this area I didn't really do much with. Kinda like give up. I'm not, I'm not like the super designer or anything like that, but I do like this area though, for that at the very least. It's nothing like too crazy, like this is like a layout. And then I just added like just random stuff here and there. So it looks a little more full. And then like the inside is just nothing too crazy. It's also just like a bunch of presets, I think. I think this is like Mona's room. And then I have like just Paimon chilling there. I have like a random cat. A bunch of like random stuff on this table. Little like statues. I don't even remember like where those are from. I could definitely like clean this up. Like I probably have like way better stuff these days, and I could probably think of like better things to put around, but it's like one of those things where I just never really bother. I guess I can show my discs too. I'm missing probably like a lot because I don't actually go out of my way to find these. So I have like a pretty good amount though, I would say, from just like finding them like on my own. I didn't really unlock these. There you go. A video exclusive of me unlocking these. There we go. 168 out of who knows how many. I think there's like Eula. Eula just hangs out here. And then I think Fischl is over here. And then I just have like a bunch of like the little pictures taken over the years. So every now and then I'll come back in here and then just put those. I think this was drawn by like a Melazine, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that though. Might be something else. Yeah, and then like there were some out here too. This one. But otherwise, yeah, nothing too crazy. I'm not like not that good of a designer or whatever. So most of this stuff is just like presets. But I think it looks alright for whenever I do come in here every now and then. This room is just completely empty. But yeah, nothing else to really say. I'll do like a quick Primogen check and then probably leave off there. Day 1 account showcase though. I guess another fun fact is that I forgot to turn in my daily commissions like 2 or 3 times. And I remember the first time I did it, I was like super like distraught about it because I was like, damn, I really ruined my account. Then I got over it after like a week because then I realized that I'm missing like a bunch of stuff. Actually, wait. I'm also missing Alloy. I don't know if anybody knows that. I'm missing Alloy. I'm like one of the rarest day 1 daily login players that doesn't have Alloy. Because, yeah, I just don't like Horizon Zero Dawn. And I thought Alloy looked pretty bad in like this game's art style, so I just kept her in my mail for like a year. I remember I was always like super worried I was gonna claim it by accident. So when she was finally gone, I was like, ooh, finally. But yeah, so when I missed like, because I did the daily commissions, like the 4 daily commissions, but then I never ended up doing the thing where you turn it in. So I missed like 2 or 3 of those because I don't know, I just forgot them a couple times.
There will definitely be something that catches your eye.
And yeah, like I said, I was like super like, oh man, I just ruined it. I ruined the streak, but then I realized that I'm missing like a bunch of stuff, like random stuff, like the bear traps and like, you know, other stuff like that. So then I was like, well, whatever, who cares? But otherwise, yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video somehow and found this fun. I'll quickly throw up my Oil Lab page, I guess, too, just to end it. So yeah, quickly show this, just in case anybody cares. As of today, as long as this video goes up the same day that I recorded, this is like the current max that I know of. During the anniversary things, it always says like 19 or 9/28 for the date, but I think technically you could have logged in
That dream last night
9/27 if
tasted
you're West
wonderful.
Coast.
Thank you for sharing it with
But the
me.
download took so long back in the day that I think I might have logged in after the first reset. But I'm not actually 100% sure on that because I feel like I never see that. So I'm gonna assume that 9/28 is the first day you could have logged in. So 1830 is the current max, but I don't know. And then yeah, just like all these other random stats. I've managed to do Stygian Onslaught fearless every single time so far. Also, I'm free to play, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that like at all. In case anybody was like wondering. Yeah. I also don't min-max the chests, so I'm probably like, if you min-max all the chests, you probably have higher than me. I just kind of like explore, and once it says 100%, then I'm pretty much done. And then like any extras that I find using the treasure compasses, you know, those are, you know, it's like a little, that's just the bonus. But yeah, nothing else to really say here. Hope you enjoyed this video and found some information useful somehow. But yeah, here's to 5 years with Genshin, hashtag Genshin high five, hashtag 5-year anniversary.
Oh, still need to go through last
And yeah,
quarter's
I don't know, maybe I'll do
financial
one at
report.
2000 days,
What
maybe.
a headache.
But until then, I will see you in the next video.